Hi everyone, welcome back to Studying SQL with me. We're continuing with the select command, but in this video, we'll be talking about 4 new operators: the between operator, the in operator, the is null, is not null operator, and the like operator. We have learned the relational operator as well as logical operators in the previous video. So let's get started. Now, talking about the between operator. What does the between operator do? Between operator searches for a range of values. Now, what do I mean by a range of values? If you're looking out for employees whose salary is in the range 1,000 to 2,000, so you're talking about anybody who's 1,000, who's 1,001, who's 1,002, up to 2,000. So you're looking at a range of values. If you're looking at something like this, you can make use of the between operator. Okay, you may have wondered that the same kind of question we've done in the previous video. Yes, we could solve that question using relational and logical operators as well. But using these operators makes things easier for us in terms of writing and analyzing as well. Okay, so how do you write a between operator? The operator that we're going to learn today, all the 4 operators, we write it with the where clause. So your select and from continues to remain the same. The changes that you will see is only with the where clause, because it's with the where clause that you specify a condition. So writing the between operator, we would write where, the name of the column that you want to search within, between, what is the lower value that you are searching for, and what is the higher value that you're searching for. Things would be clear if we start using examples. Now, what does not between do? Using the word not, we have learned, is just negating the condition. So if you ever use not before a certain condition, it means anything other than that. So if I say between 100 and 200, it means strictly from 100 to 200, 101, 102, 199, 200. Okay. But when I say not between, it would mean anything that's below 100 or anything that is above 200. Clear? So let's look at the first example. It says display details of employees earning a salary in the range. So again, they've given you a range. Whenever they give you a range, remember, you can make use of the between operator. I'm not going to be writing the select star from EMP because I think by now you are all aware of it. I'm only writing from the where clause. So what is the condition here? Where salary. Salary is under which column? A column called sal. Now I want all of you all to note the first line on the slide. The first line on the slide tells you the column names of the table that I've been showing you all this while in the previous video. Okay, so where sal between, what's the lower range that I'm checking for? 500. And what's the higher range that I'm checking for? 1,500. So what would this do? It would search through the entire table, and any employee whose salary is in this range, his record will get displayed, because obviously you're writing the where clause with the select statement, and the purpose of the select statement is to display. Clear? Okay, let's look at some more examples. Display the details of employees who have joined the company in the year 1982. So select star from EMP, where joined the company. Which column refers to when an employee has joined the company? The column named as hire date. So where hire date, most commonly made mistake is equal to 1982, because the question said joined in the year 1982. But what we need to remember is, if you remember the table had the date in this particular format, which was YYYY-MM-DD. So you cannot write a date just with the year, because that's not how it's stored. Then what can we do? We will have to think of writing the date in this particular format. Now, when I say joined the company in the year 1982, do you all agree with me? I'm talking of someone who joined between 1st Jan 1982 to 31st December 1982, correct? So again, you got a range. If you have got a range, what did we say? We could make use of the between operator. So how do I make use of the between operator? Where higher date between the lower value. Lower value is going to be 1st Jan. How do I write 1st Jan? 1982 0101. And the higher value is 1982 1231. So it's talking about everybody who's joined in this particular range, which is nothing but the year 1982. Let me tell you one thing, that the between operator includes the lower value as well as the higher value. So the 1st Jan date and the 31st December date is included in this particular command. Okay, let's look at another one. It says display the names of employees earning a salary below 1,000 or above 2,000. So the range is not this. It's not from 1,000 to 2,000. The range is basically talking about something here. That means below 1,000 or above 2,000, which means not in the range 1,000 to 2,000. So how do I write my where? Okay, display name. So select E name from EMP, where sal not between. And what are the two values that you should not be in between? Between 1,000 and 2,000. So if a person's salary is 1,000, does he get included in not between? No, because between includes 1,000 and 2,000. So not between obviously will not include anything that between includes. So anything which is lower than 1,000 or anything which is higher than 2,000. Clear? So I hope the between operator is clear. Let's look at the next operator. It's called the in operator or the not in operator. What's the purpose of the in or the not in operator? When I want to look at a particular column of a table for a number of values, for example, I want to see if the job is a clerk or job is a salesman or job is a manager. So if you look at these statements that I made, I'm looking at the job column, but I'm looking at 3 different values, either clerk or salesman or manager. In such scenarios, when you have to check a column for a list of values, we make use of the in operator, and obviously not in will negate the in operator. Let's look at some examples here. Display the details of employees who are clerks, managers, or salesmen. So select star from EMP, definitely there. I'm writing from the where onwards. Where what? The column that I'm looking for is job. What are the list of values that I'm looking for? So I write in. And what are the 3 values that I'm looking for? Clerk. Do not write clerks, because if you notice the table, it's not said that Adam is a clerks. Adam is a clerk. So I write clerk, comma, manager. Note the quotes because strings are always written in quotes, comma, salesman. So what does this mean? I'm searching for someone who's either a clerk or a manager or a salesman. Could I do this only using relational and logical operators? Yes, I could say job is equal to clerk, or job is equal to manager, or job is equal to salesman. We have seen this before in the previous video. Okay, let's look at some more examples. Display details of employees working in department 10 or 20 and working as clerks or salesmen. Okay, so you're looking at department DEPTNO column for 2 values, 10 or 20, so list of values. Then you're looking at job column for 2 values, clerk or salesman, so list of values. So what could I do? I could write where DEPTNO in 10, 20, and at the same time, job in clerk, comma, salesman. So what does this mean? That you have to be either in 10 or 20, and at the same time, you have to be either a clerk or a salesman. And don't forget the semicolon. Okay, Let's look at another question. Display the details of employees who are neither in department 10 or 20. That means you want everybody else except department 10 or 20. So obviously we have select star from EMP as usual, but now I write where DPTNO not in and the two values that they should not be in. That's 10, 20. So what does it mean? Anything other than 10 or 20. Is that clear? So I hope the between and the in operator is clear with you. Okay, let's look at another operator. It's called the is null, is not null operator. Now, what's the purpose of this operator? This operator checks if a particular column has a value or does not have a value. If you want to check if it has a value, you write is not null because null means empty. And if you want to check that it does not have a value, then you write the column is null. That means it doesn't have a value. Now, where can I use this? If you remember this table EMP, there is a column called COMM where all employees did not get commission. Do you remember that? Some of them had null written there, which means what? They don't get commissions. So there are people who don't get commissions, so their columns are going to be null or empty. And there are people who get a commission, so they'll have some value there. So how do I check on that? Let's look at an example. Question says, display details of employees who do not get a commission. So display details of employees. So you're surely going to write select star from EMP, where COMM who do not get a commission. Do not get a commission means what? Should it have a value or not have a value? Not have a value. So where commission is null, that means it should be empty. And if it's empty, what does it mean? That the person doesn't get a commission. Let's look at another one. Display details of employees who belong to department 10. Details of employees. So select star from EMP. What is the where? You have to be belonging to department 10. So department number is equal to 10. And you should be getting a value. That means what? There has to be some value under the commission column and it cannot be blank. So, and I write commission is not null. That means commission definitely has a value under it. Clear? So I hope the is null and the is not null operator is also clear with you. Okay, let's look at the next and the last operator for this video. It's the like and the not like operator. Now, where do we use the like and the not like operator? Like operator helps us to search for substrings. Now, when I mean substring, that means a part of the string. So if you ever have a string and you want to search for something that is a part of the string, either it begins with it or ends with it or has it somewhere here or there. So you're searching not for the entire string, you're searching for a part of the string, then you are talking about substrings. And whenever you use a substring or search for substrings, we will be making use of the like operator. Format is you specify the column, you specify the word like, and you need to specify the pattern that you're looking for. What is pattern? But before we come to patterns, what we need to remember is that we are going to be using 2 wildcard characters when we write patterns. Okay. Now, if you've ever played the game of cards, Joker is called a wildcard character because in some of the games, Joker can replace any other card of your deck. Okay, correct. So similarly here, these wildcard characters, which is underscore and percentage, can replace any character that you're looking for, but they are slightly different in terms of what they mean. Underscore always represents only a single character. So every underscore that you put in the pattern will represent one single character. Whereas percentage could mean 10 characters, 2 characters, or even 0 characters. So percentage is not putting restrictions on how many characters. Percentage would mean either 0 or 1, 2, 10, and so on, any number of characters. I think it will be a little more clearer when I show you certain patterns in the next slide. I've written certain patterns here. If you look at the first pattern, we have written it's a percentage. So what does this mean? I'm looking for a string which begins with a. But after a, it can have any number of characters. It could be Anne, it could be Anita, it could just be a, because percentage also means 0, right? So if it's 0, you're looking for a substring which is just a. Second one says percentage a. That means what? It doesn't begin with a, but it should be ending with a. Now, Anita, when I talk about, yes, gets selected in this case. But if I talk about Anne, Anne's last character is N. Here it says the last character has to be A, and before that you can have any number of characters. Now when you write a percentage A, what does it mean? That the substring that you're looking for must begin with a A, must end with a A, and in between both the A's you may have no character at all or more characters. That doesn't matter. Fourth one says percentage A percentage. Now, what does this mean? Okay, look at it carefully. It just means it has a. It could be at the beginning. Now, you might say, how at the beginning? Because if this stands for 0 characters, doesn't this mean that the string begins with a? Correct? Okay. And if this stands for 0 characters, doesn't it mean that the string ends with a? Correct? So it only means that it has letter A. It could be at the beginning, it could be at the end, it could be the second letter, it could be the middle letter or whatever. So these examples, the first 4 examples that I showed you are all using the percentage sign. Now coming to the fifth one, A underscore underscore underscore. So what does it mean? I'm looking for a string which definitely starts with letter A, but after that it could have any 3 characters, but compulsorily there has to be 3 characters, but it could be anything. Okay. The last one says A underscore T. That means the first letter has to be A. The string should end with a T, but between A and T, you could have any character, but only one single character, like Ant would get chosen here. But if it's Annette, no, because it starts with A and ends with T probably, but the number of characters in between are more. Is that clear? So I hope you got the pattern concept, and then depending on the question, we'll have to make our own patterns. So let's look at some examples. But before we look at some examples, let me just tell you that the pattern or SQL is not case sensitive. So when you write capital A, it doesn't mean it's only looking for capital A. It could look for capital as well as small at the same time. Okay, let's look at an example. It says display details of employees having letter S in their name. So it's not talking about where to have S. So select star from EMP is definitely there. Where E name, like, it just need to have S somewhere. So I write percentage S percentage. So what does this mean? You could have it in the beginning, you could have it at the end, or you could have it anywhere. Okay, let's look at another example. Display details of employees having 5-lettered name beginning with B. 5-lettered name beginning with B. So select star from EMP as usual, where E name, like. But it says beginning with B, so definitely B should be the first letter. But after that, you can have 4 more letters only, because I'm basically looking out for 5-lettered name. So it could be a Blake. Why? Because B is the first letter and L-A-K-E is there. But it can't be a bin, because B is the first letter, but you do not have 4 more letters after that. Okay. Let's look at another example. Details of employees having at least 3 letters in their name. So details of employees, so select star from EMP. What's the condition going to be? Where E name, like, and remember with like, we're always writing a pattern, and the pattern has to be in quotes. Single or double quotes doesn't matter. 3 letters. So if I put underscore, underscore, underscore and stop with this, it would mean I'm looking for somebody with a 3-lettered name, because every underscore needs a character. But here it's not saying 3-lettered name, at least 3. So you must have 3 And you can even have more than 3. So I put a percentage, because percentage could be 0, so it's only 3, or percentage could be 2, 3, 4, so it is more letters there. Okay. Now in any of these, like, if I wrote a not like, for example, let's talk about the first example. In the first example here, if I write ename not like percentage s percentage, so what does that mean then? It means that you're talking about somebody who doesn't have S in their name at all. Is that clear? So I hope you have understood the between operator, the in operator, the like operator, and the is null and the is not null operator. Okay. So if you have understood things and you agree that, it's worth watching this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.